I'm in Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, and this is the Kathmandu Durbar Square, one of 3 historic royal palace squares in the Kathmandu Valley. There's quite a few interesting buildings here. One of them is the home of the Kumari, a living goddess. They choose a prepubescent girl and they worship her until puberty, at which point they kick her out and they find another one. Whilst all of that, of course, is very nice, well, I'm really here to see the mountains, and over the next 10 days I'm with a group and some guides, and we're going to be trekking the Annapurna Circuit, 120 kilometres, which will take us over the Thorongla Pass at about 5,400 metres elevation, so this should be a fun hike. The first part of our route has featured quite a lot of agricultural activity. In particular, we've been watching rice being harvested. It's a very, very manual process, although some mechanisation is starting to creep in. The river here is the Marjangdi, which is a distant tributary of the Ganges. We're following the river for about a week. It'll take us most of the way to Thorongla Pass. It's just after monsoon season here, and in fact there was an unseasonably late storm just last week, so the river and the waterfalls that feed it are really quite full at the moment. We've just had our first view of one of the Annapurna peaks, Annapurna 2. We've been seeing an awful lot of development on our walk so far, and much of it's associated with a number of hydroelectric projects funded by the Chinese. They've got a lot of water here, and the electricity they generate from that they want to use to drive their domestic economic development, but also to export for extra revenue. But we're in a conservation area here, and although as one of the poorest countries in the world they need this kind of development, it is a shame to see an area like this, so pristine, be damaged in this way. In Nepal, the majority religion is Hindu, only about 8% are Buddhists, but here in the mountains many people have Tibetan ancestry, so Buddhism dominates. The Buddha is believed to have been born in Lumbini, which is now part of Nepal. We visited a Buddhist monastery, and it was constructed relatively recently, replacing a previous one that had fallen into disrepair. And the locals were expected to either contribute financially or to volunteer 54 days of their time for the construction. And all of this buys them merit, and merit goes to determine their rebirth. There's a number of ways to earn merit. Reciting the mantras is one, spinning prayer wheels which have the mantras embossed upon them is another. The spinning of a prayer wheel has a similar merit to reciting the mantra. There are also a lot of Tibetan prayer flags around. The blue ones symbolise the sky and space, the white ones the air, the wind, the red for fire, the green for water and nature, and the yellow for the earth. The prayer flags have mantras printed on them, and when the wind blows, it blows the blessings into everything that surrounds them. These are yak. They're a type of cattle. These are domesticated ones and are descended from wild ones. They're used here for all sorts of things. Their wool, milk, meat, their dung is used as a fuel, their butter is made into candles, they're used for carrying things, they pull ploughs, and they even race them during festivals. The male is a yak and the female is a mak. They thrive here at high altitude, and this is because they've got larger lungs and hearts than other types of cattle, so they can deal with the thinner air. We've been so lucky with the weather the last few days. Today we've got great views of a number of summits. We can see Heaven's Gate, Lamjung Himal, Annapurna 2, Annapurna 4 just peeking up, Annapurna 3, and others as well. Just beautiful. We're about halfway through our 10-day trek, and this is a good time to talk about the trek itself. We're hiking a good chunk of the Annapurna Circuit. This is a route that goes around the top side of the Annapurna range, the highest point of which, Annapurna 1, is over 8,000 metres. The trek follows roads and paths. We're doing the central section over Throngla Pass, that's about 5,400 metres. We started down at 800 metres down in the valley a few days ago. Each day is quite a lot of climb, sometimes down a bit as well. Along the way, we're staying in what are traditionally known as tea houses, or quite often referred to these days just as hotels. They're kind of like bed and breakfast. They're usually fairly small, run by a family with a number of twin rooms. Very basic rooms. We bring our own sleeping bags, and they provide meals 3 times a day. And the sort of food we're getting, things like fried rice, soups, noodles, dal bat, quite a decent menu to choose from each day. And the group of 10 of us are being supported by 3 guides and 5 porters that are carrying our things from tea house to tea house. Once again, we have absolutely amazing views. This is the Annapurna Glacier. We've left the last sizable village and the road behind us now, and we're on trails all the way to the pass. Today we just did a morning walk. We did 10 kilometres over about 5 hours up to the village here at Yakarka, We're going to have just a little walk around this afternoon, and tomorrow another short distance up to our next tea house at Vedi, where we'll be taking a bit of rest before we do the final ascent up to the pass the day after. When we started this trek about a week ago, the views were dominated by the colour green. We had the rice fields, the trees, the bushes, but one by one we've lost those. We lost the rice fields first, then the root vegetable crops, and the trees, and then the big bushes. And now the views are very white, dominated by snow and ice. This is our first glimpse of the steep path up to the pass that we're doing in the early hours of tomorrow morning. It's just gone 3 a.m. We're just off for some breakfast, and then we'll be starting our big 900 metre climb to the pass. We've only got about half an hour or so to go to the pass, about 100 metres of climb, and the scenery here is just absolutely stunning. And so we've made it to Thorongla Pass, 5,416 metres above sea level. It's taken us just over 5 hours to get here. This pass marks the boundary between the Marshangdi Valley, which goes to the north and the east of the Annapurna range, and the Mustang Valley down here to the west. This is reputed to be the highest trekking pass in the world. There are other passes, but they say this is the highest one you can actually walk over. From here we're going to continue down and see a few villages on the way down. This is Dhaulagiri, the 7th highest mountain in the world, and the highest we'll see on this trek. A few hours ago we finished our 10-day trek on the Annapurna Circuit at the village of Kagbeni. We've been really lucky, the weather, fantastic views throughout, the scenery's just been spectacular. It's really, I think it will be an unforgettable experience. From here we'll be taking our jeeps further on down the valley to Pokhara, then I'll be flying back to Kathmandu and then home. And thank you to my 9 wonderful travelling companions. It's been fantastic to share this experience with you. And thank you to Ram, our tour leader, very knowledgeable, facilitated everything. And to our 2 trail guides, to Ratna and Lakpa, and our superhero porters, to Kaka, Kumar, Sunil, Devi and Nagendra. Our four-wheel drive journey to Pokhara is turning out to be quite an adventure. The road's a mixture of nice two-lane tarmac roads and then rocky jeep track. We've passed quite a number of landslides, one we've had to wait while excavators clear a path through, and now one of our 3 4x4s has broken down, so we're consolidating ourselves into 2 vehicles to continue our journey.